Hello everyone, Machina here with another D&D Fuzzy Tale. This story, by user Holistic Creeper, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is about a game in which the DM is so focused on railroading his players that he doesn't even let them play. Let's begin. So, it started with a poster on my college campus. LGBT D&D, contact this email if you're interested. Being queer myself, that seemed like a good thing to check out. I'd been DMing online for a while, but I was feeling the itch to play as well. I would love an in-person table, but, well, finding a group where I can be open about my gender and sexuality is a risk. It seemed like a blessing, as you can assume. It wasn't. Honestly, it really did start out alright. The DM was sweet, a bit unclear on the rules as she'd only run games casually for her family. But we started with a module. I tried to encourage her and give positive feedback and little tips on the rules when she couldn't remember them. No problems, really. Except for the guy who was wearing a t-shirt featuring Zootopia's Nick Wilde in a suggestive pose. Which, furries don't actually bother me, but this is a bold choice in a public comic shop. If you walk around in public with a barely censored picture on your chest, you look like a creep. Anyway, unfortunately, the sweet girl got too busy with her job and had another player take the mantle of DM. I still had hopes. The new guy said he DM'd plenty before, so I thought I was going to get someone who had a clear idea of what he was doing. So, to recap, we have the sweet girl, the furry, trademark, normal guy, and the new DM. We down for our first session with the new DM. Pretty quickly, I discovered the first of many issues I would have with him. The primary one was that he hadn't actually talked to the players at all. The sweet girl had dumped her wisdom stat for her druid. So now, I'm whispering to her to help her rebalance her sheet to have an effective PC. The furry didn't understand anything about his class, and didn't even update his hit points, so I help him fix that. I'm doing all the jobs an experienced DM is supposed to do with new players. Then, we get started. The DM describes that we were hired for a heist job, and we're currently stationed in a casino. He then assigns us to individual activities, tells me what my character is doing, and how it goes down before I pause and say, I think he'd be at the card table, actually. Since he can sleight of hand that, in the end it didn't matter, because the 10-minute intro turned into us being flung into another dimension. Next, of the bad choices this DM made, the furry, who of course was playing a kitsune, whose backstory involved being a part of a harem, perhaps inspired by his suggestive Nick Wilde shirt, got separated from us. A brand new player who didn't even know how to write down his own HP, and the first thing the DM does is split the party and put the newbie totally alone. The rest of us wake up in a bunch of jail cells. Cue another 15 minutes of the DM using his rich cast of NPCs to tell us the entire situation instead of having us ask questions, roleplay, make skill checks. Just a long-winded info dump that has my eyes glazing over. We get out of the cells, free the NPCs, and oh, of course there's another cell at the back of the room, with a mysterious figure inside. I know a plot hook when I see one, and knowing how the party not biting is troublesome for a DM just starting a campaign, I suggest we check it out. Party agrees. We find the prisoner inside has a mask over his mouth. He can't talk, so we can't ask him questions. The NPCs have no information about him, so we take the mask off. The second he speaks, we're all charmed. At level 3, a 14 wisdom save wasn't high enough to save, and we weren't just charmed, but we also do every single thing the NPC tells us to do. No extra chances to save, no ability to resist, just a DM narrating the whole way through the dungeon, slowly killing all the NPCs he'd made us listen to for 15 minutes, leading us on and on and on, for over an hour. I was thinking about just standing up and leaving halfway through. In the end, we never actually saved against this guy. The DM tried really hard to tell us how cool and dangerous his NPC is. He put in a magic item that reveals how many people you've killed by an aura, and made sure to emphasize just how his aura was impossibly big. And don't get me wrong, I am willing to play along most of the time. My PCs will get scared by a good villain, I love yes-and-ing the DM, but this is just a villain. Mister, I've murdered thousands, I'm so scary. Meanwhile, as we're all being puppeted through the DM's dungeon and doing nothing, the furry was in a room full of Chihuahua people worshipping him like a god. He made some racist comments throughout these moments. The session came to a glorious end. I never came back. In hindsight, when I announced I was leaving the table, I really wish I'd explained some of my reasoning. Then again, I don't think the DM would have learned anything from it. There is a happy ending though. My absolute disdain for this person's horrible DMing drove me to the Looking for Groups subreddit, where I actually found a wonderful group that fits my playstyle. So in the end, this 3 hours of suffering and boredom did grant me many months of enjoying the first campaign I've ever played an original character in. The lesson? Take no poop. Spite is the best motivator. I must say I'm impressed. This beats everything I've seen before in terms of railroading. When the DM is so intent on telling his story that he goes as far as to controlling the player characters himself, well, he should probably be writing a book instead. And from what we could see here, that book wouldn't even be that good. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and come check out our Twitter if you're interested. The link is in the description. Until next time, take care.